Alright, welcome back, Weather Kingdom. Welcome back. Just give me one moment before we actually start of talking about the potential Caribbean storm. This is looking pretty bad in my opinion now, as we kind of took a break yesterday to kind of get prepared for tonight. Like I said, it's a very, very late stream. A lot of stuff actually came up that I wasn't expecting, or I would have started the stream 2 hours earlier. But not too bad. We got some ZRZ model runs that we can actually get some new data with. So we're going to be here for that. Just give me one moment. Okay. So we are going to have to get... My phone is currently updating. So I do want to get chats here. Let's go into that. Yeah, I do want to get chats here. We already got 5 people watching. Welcome back, Weather Kingdom. I just want to... Oh. Hey, welcome. Let me just quickly write this. It's starting to blow up a little bit. What is up, everybody? Up to a 40. Hello, what is up? We got already 10 people watching. We are going to be taking a look at this Caribbean storm, as we got some interesting data coming out of this. And honestly, I say this is doing much better than anticipated. I say for the most part, this is a pretty healthy tropical wave. And I think this is a lot more healthier than we were expecting. And that's not a good thing. So generally, with the spin, this is our tropical wave right here, alright? This is our tropical wave. Pretty good looking tonight. There is still some wind shear that is pressing against on the mid-level and soon to become low-level center. But those are expected to change, and things are expected to get a lot better, because when we let this play, the Caribbean is a waiting, ticking time bomb. And once this kind of wave, I mean, generally, you can tell we do have winds coming out like this. So we do have low-level winds like this. And then we do have winds like this circulating back in here. So I think our low-level center or tropical wave is somewhere around here right now. And as this continues to impact the Barbados and some of these islands to the south, I do expect conditions to be absolutely very favorable in the Atlantic. So this is not a good thing when we take a look at water vapor and dry air. And honestly, this is not even that bad. This is pretty much the only little bit of dry air right in here, where that's it. In the Caribbean, it's pretty good. The atmosphere for this system is pretty conducive for development as of right now. Hurst and GFC's Hurricane Fortified. Welcome. We got 18 people watching. Alright. So, I do want to talk a little bit about this tropical wave before we actually really start here. So, basically, we just looked at satellite, but I do want to take a look at the current things. I want to show you guys why I think this is going to develop into a pretty monster-sized hurricane. First off, the National Hurricane Center does say now at 10:40. I do expect this to continue. Sorry, you guys. I am a little bit of sick, but we are, once pretty much we get past the islands here, all bets are off. I'm going to just tell you guys straight out. If the favorability is looking the way it is, the Caribbean is a waiting, ticking time bomb that's honestly about to go kaboom. Alright, look at this. This is the environment. The shear is low. This is our tropical wave right now. We are dealing with some 20 to 25 mile an hour shear that's pressuring on this. But look, once you get past here, the Caribbean, the shear completely drops. Very good shear levels in the Caribbean. There's practically like only 5 to 10 knots of shear. That's nothing. All right. When we take a look at vorticity also, we do have quite a bit of vorticity in this tropical wave that once it makes it past these islands, I do expect pretty quick development in my opinion. I think the GFS and the hurricane, I haven't even looked at the hurricane models, but there's a lot of indications to me that things are going to get very serious very quick. This is one of the NAM models, and I'm not buying into the GFS. The wave is moving fast and it will miss the first trough. Yes, I agree with you, Kenny. Will Tallahassee be impacted? No. Tallahassee, Florida will not be impacted. I just want to... Alright. So I haven't even looked at the hurricane models. So let's just take a look at this generally. So it does show some showers and thunderstorms. This wave does stay pretty weak. And then once it makes it into the Caribbean, it does want it to, start popping off. Look at that. It likes to see a hurricane. Look at that. Once you get into more of the northern parts of the Caribbean, the HURF does go hurricane just south of Haiti. Alright, that's pretty interesting. What does the impacts look? So dry air, not bad. Not the best. Pretty good actually. I don't see anything too wrong. Yeah, that would definitely be a hurricane. We're just looking for the general stuff here. HMON doesn't believe in it, but these are early hurricane models. The halves. It's because it tries and crashes in there. Okay. I'm just taking a look at some stuff. First off, let's take a look at the ensembles. So I want to take a look into here. Let's do that. Let's go into European. Let's go out in the 10 days. This is the European ensembles. They do expect this to generally become better organized before the islands, about the way it is right now. It is getting sheared, so it probably won't develop too quick. But once you get into Central Caribbean, the environment is very congealed. Those are the ensembles for the Euro. The GNC likes some of them going like this, some of them going like that, and then a lot of them doing this. So there is still some difficulty on the tracks and everything. That's interesting. These AI models, they go more to the west. So they like development more out in Central Caribbean. And then kind of gets drifted and then shot to the north. Like that. That's a little bit interesting. I'm just taking a look at some of the ensembles. Alright. Yeah, look at the GFS ensembles. We're going to have to really watch that because you do got some ensembles that take it into Dominica and Haiti. And then shooting out. You got some into Jamaica and then Cuba and the Bahamas then shooting out. Then you got something that goes like this, and then it gets slingshotted right into Cuba and then the Bahamas, and then potentially up in the Northeast. So there's a lot of changing with the models. One thing that I can officially say that we are most likely going to see development. Chances continue to rise at this given point. Alright. Everybody says that the GFS is junk, but one of the hurricane models agree with the GFS. That's interesting. Hertz agrees with the GFS. The Euro does not agree with either. What is up? Come to Florida. I need a damn overtime, lol. So the shear, if you want to ask for the shear, I'm going to actually show you right here. So let's take a look at the shear. Do you guys see anything wrong right now? There is a little bit of shear on the system. System's about down here. There is a little bit of shear right in here that's blowing like this as of right now. But look at the Caribbean. Well, look what happens in the Caribbean. Wait. Yeah, look at that right here. It's very favorable. Look at that. Look at this cyclonic outflow right here. Look at that. The shear in the Caribbean is very conducive. Look at that. Boom. Very good conditions for that. This is the GFS. It likes a hurricane developing there and then gets slingshotted into near Puerto Rico and the islands as a Category 2. Then it wants to stall around the islands there, rides the coast of the islands here, kind of makes a landfall, weaken itself probably into a tropical storm or a weak Category 1 hurricane, and then comes out much bigger, bringing a lot of impacts to the Bahamas as a easy Cat 2 hurricane just to the north of the island. And then it has it doing this dance and then getting drifted and stalling and doing all that. I don't know about all that. That's very interesting. I'm not fully agreeing with that, but in this case scenario, look at steering. This is just, if the GFS is right, take this with a grain of salt because I do not agree with this. But if the GFS ends up being right in any of these ensemble runs, this would be a catastrophic flooding event. You guys, I'm going to tell you guys straight out. If the GFS isn't right in any case scenario, we're talking about a straight out catastrophic event. I agree with you, Rondi. Welcome back. We got 42 people watching. If you guys are new, please like and subscribe. That would be very greatly appreciated. Thank you. The waters are so warm. It'll expect. Correct. The one thing I do not like is this. And look, this is last run. This is last run right here. Last run. I actually look at all the runs. These are all the runs with the GFS so far. And they're showing, not just Puerto Rico, but we're talking about a massive area, you guys. Off the charts of 24. That's 3 to 4 feet of rain for the entire islands here. Alright? Not to mention, you got a catastrophic hurricane with wind gust easily crashing into the islands. And look how big that grows into a storm. And then look how much bigger that is. That's a very large storm. I don't know if I could take this for granted. Because when we take a look at 12Z, 12Z was about the same thing. Had it crashing into these islands here, weakening it a lot more. And then kind of stalling and sitting like a Central American gyre. But still as a tropical storm. And it hits the Bahamas as a Category 2 hurricane. And then becomes a major hurricane that hit Bermuda. In this case scenario, you're talking about the entire island of Puerto Rico, some of the northern islands, Bahamas, you're talking about parts of Cuba, Haiti, Dominican, all getting 2+ feet of rain on the GFS. That's really, really, really bad. When we take a look at the European likes the idea that this will develop ratherly slowly, but it does gain strength, and it does become a very large tropical storm, and then makes landfall as a hurricane in Jamaica, and then does something like the GFS, but a lot later. Look at the GFS, and look at that. 2 different scenarios right there, some difficulties, but it does bring, once again, a lot of impacts, and it does become its next potential major hurricane. When we take a look at the rainfall too on the Euro, even with the Euro solution, you're talking about a widespread, generally up to 6+ inches. Talking about a lot of rain. You're talking about Jamaica probably getting about 1 foot to 1.5 feet of rain. You're talking about some of these islands here, just south of Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas. You're talking about 1 to 2 feet of rain. Very, very bad. If any of these case scenarios happen, we're talking about some major devastating mudslides and rainfall totals. It would not be good. Thank you, guys. We're at 11 likes. If you guys feel like to donate, that'll be very greatly appreciated. My bad. And look at this, you guys. Look at this. Look at the shear. The shear has continued to drop. In this case scenario, you guys, we're talking about almost the lowest shears ever recorded in the Caribbean. I'm very interested how we continue in November, because if we keep staying like this, this is gonna be a really bad thing. Look at the shear in the Caribbean. pretty crazy. The GFS should, I want to see the newest models. This is Icon. Icon likes it to develop in the Caribbean and then kind of stalls near Jamaica and gain strength. What does European AI say? Okay. I don't even know what the 12s he showed. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Oh, wow. Wow, this is not good. Look at the waters. The waters continue to warm. Wow. Look at this, you guys. Where I just circled is now at 31 degrees Celsius. If this goes anywhere like